Welcome to the Impactful Engineer Project. I'm Steve Maxey, and with my co-host and brother Jake, we are here to bring you guidance, fresh ideas, and the tools to help you become an impactful engineer. Most engineers don't fail because they lack technical skill. They fail because they never learn how to lead, communicate, and take ownership. This is the Impactful Engineer. We give you the blueprint for career excellence, not textbook answers. I'm Steve Maxey, a senior manager in product development, and I'm here with my brother Jake, owner and principal engineer at NLS Engineering. If you're done with the status quo and ready to take control of your career, then you're listening to the right show. Hello, Jacob.
And that's NLS Engineering.
Yeah, did I say it a little too fast?
Which NLS
NLS.
Just so that, people can figure it out and find it,
Yeah,
just in case
exactly.
they care.
And it has many meanings. That'll remain a mystery.
That's for us to know. And others never to find out.
Mm-hmm.
Except for our core team.
Yeah.
They will know because it's a driver of our culture.
Yeah.
Well,
And the core team is you.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, okay?
Yeah,
Starting slow.
All right. You want to jump into a little housekeeping real quick and then we can kick it off?
Yes. 3 episode types. First one, Steve and I get on here, share something that we, have seen in our own careers and our own lives that have helped us tremendously. So we try to share that to help you too. Second episode type is either one of us will get on here. We don't do those very often. Something will change. Maybe that someday. We do. But, either one of us will get on and share something pretty close to each one of us as an individual that has helped us just overcome a lot of the things that lead to that leadership, communication, and ownership principles that we have. And then the third episode type is we bring a guest on that has a unique perspective. Of course, they've lived a complete separate life from everyone, and they bring that entire upbringing to the table and share what has worked for them.
Yeah. We try to pull that out of them.
Yeah. So we try to bring multiple perspectives. Those are the 3 ways we do it, and that's the show.
Absolutely. What's your favorite, Jake? Which episode type is your favorite?
Well, I would have to say just you and I coming on the show and just yelling at each other. And guests are fine too. But if I have to choose one, I'm going to be honest. I like us coming on here and because we get to talk beforehand too. That's probably one of my favorite parts is that we get to catch up. We need to be communicating. But I think when the solo stuff starts taking off, probably going to be my favorite.
Yeah.
Because just lay it out there. I like to say my piece and get it out, and I enjoy that. So whatever that means about me.
Yeah. So you're not gonna overly prepare and make sure everything's all perfect before you actually record that solo episode.
I might, just because if I don't, I'll likely lose a lot of people and they won't understand what the hell I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Because I'm a rambler. So I need to rein that in
a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I need to rein that in and so people can understand.
Yeah. Okay. Well, our topic for today, how do we want to frame this? So we talked a little bit before we hit record just to kind of bounce some ideas around. And we started out with just the word anxiety, right?
Yeah.
And I think we kind of danced around that. We hit it straight on. And there's a few concepts that we think will benefit the listener or our audience around anxiety in general, but also just kind of how it pertains to their engineering careers and professional lives. So
my thoughts around this topic. I'm not an expert on anything anxiety.
Yeah, we're not medical professionals.
Yeah, I don't know how to. I don't know anything that goes on in the brain. All I can tell you is I have feelings, and then I do something, and then the feeling changes, and then I go, "Ooh, did that change in my favor? I'm gonna try it again. What did I do? Oh, okay, this similar feeling came up, and then I did this thing, and then it went away, and it was more manageable. Cool. So that's where my advice comes from, right? So I just want to put that out there. I'm not claiming to know anything. So
Yeah.
whenever I have, because this week I've been dealing with it a lot because I'm in the midst of hiring people and then training and then making sure that I'm building the systems that support future onboarding while I'm training. Um, and then also trying to manage multiple projects that are of high importance and pretty meaty projects that take a lot of my attention. And so, of course, I'm not going to get everything done in a day that I would want to get done to feel the best I've ever felt in my life going to bed, right? So these feelings come up. I get anxious, I think, and then it's hard to not think about work. It's hard not to worry if I have caught everything. Did I write everything down? Am I going to be able to come back tomorrow and pick up where I left off? Am I going to forget stuff? Pretty sure if you look all that up and break it down, it's probably somewhere near anxiety. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so how do I deal with that? Because I got to go to sleep. I've got to have like a nice time with my family. I've got to try to make some sort of dinner and then watch some shows is usually how I relax. Like I just go plant in front of the TV. Before I do that, I got to do some chores. And then it's like,
Yeah.
I got to live a normal life outside of doing stuff. And I don't want this anxiety or whatever this feeling is to be in my way. And the best thing I have found that gets rid of it the quickest is to figure out because there's usually 1 to 2 things that you're really worried about. All the other stuff gets lost in that.
Yeah.
And I've heard it described as spiraling. Like one thing will set you off, and if you don't know what that is, then you start thinking of all these other things, and then you just continue to go down and down and down, and you don't even know where you are. You're just spiraling out of control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's usually 1 or 2 things. So I've gotten really good at identifying when the feeling shows up. What are those 1 or 2 things that is actually causing me to feel that way? And then I do whatever I need to do to get those 2 things into a manageable position to where I feel good about coming back to it. That's like the biggest unlock I've had with these feelings.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So I'll
I
kind of,
think that will help somebody.
yeah, absolutely. I'll respond in some of the things that have helped me. So when I feel like I am overwhelmed with a wall of tasks or uncertainty of what I need to work on next or any of those kind of feelings, right, which tend to be classified as anxiety. It's the best cure for anxiety is action, right? Just start doing something because you start moving, and I think it tricks your brain into maybe reprioritizing or rethinking or something. I'm not a brain person, but also you figure out the critical tasks for the day. Like, what are those 3 or 5 or whatever things that you have to get done today? Just jot them down so that you're out of your brain and on a piece of paper, and then just go, okay, let's start at the top of the list. That's what I need to work on, and I'm just going to do that, and I'm only going to give myself 1 hour or 2 hours or 15 minutes or whatever you think is going to take the time or whatever the required amount of time is, and just set a timer and say, I need to get it done before that time is up, and just work on that, get it done, and then move on to the next thing. And then if it's like a 2-hour thing, okay, give yourself a half-hour break in between it, right? Go get lunch or snack, if you're on the weekend, go hang out with your kids or your friends or whatever, and then just do the next thing. And don't overload your daily task list with 30 different items because you'll never get it done, right? Only put 3 to 5 things, get them done. And then once you're done with those things, then you can mentally think about, I accomplished all the shit I needed to do today. If I do some extra things, cool. And if I run out of time, I'll just stop what I'm working on, and that gets added to tomorrow's task list. And just operate in that frame, and you will feel so much better because you are consistently, accomplishing every single day's primary tasks. So that's what works for me. And I know there's some systems built around that from other people and all that kind of stuff, but I've adopted that kind of framework in managing the wall of things that I have to do all the time. Because like you and I are pretty quote unquote busy, right? Like we have a lot of shit we got to take care of. We stay up late, get up early, all that kind of stuff to take care of these things. But if we just let that spiral out of control, we'll get super overwhelmed. So how do you manage that, right? You just break it down and keep it relatively simple.
Yeah. And I stick to the theme of taking action, because that's kind of what I do is I identify the thing that is causing the anxiety and then just take action against it ruthlessly.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's getting towards the end of the day, that's organizing my thoughts and the thing so that I feel good enough about to leave it and then come back. Right.
Yep.
I would say, but you know, I hate to get derailed and stuff, but it's like setting the timer could make someone anxious, running out of time because you misallocated the time. So now you're up against the clock and you're anxious because you're up against the clock. It's like, I would just say to whoever's thinking, along those lines, like, you just got to do what works for you. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the principle of it. We know from having done it ourselves that taking immediate action against something is going to alleviate the anxiety. It just, it just does. So my advice would be do whatever it takes to get good at identifying the source of the anxiety. It's
Yeah.
like, do you need to lay out your entire task list in front of you and spill it all out into whatever organized way you want to see it? Like, that's not my way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, my wife does that. She'll get to a point where it's like there's just too many things to do. So then it's a physical writing it out in a certain notebook in a certain way, usually like drawing a physical calendar, like, and then labeling days and labeling tasks. And then bam, it's all laid out. And then you can clear it out. And then you pick your tasks just like you're talking about. And then you just go. And if you feel good about planning a week, plan a week. If you feel good about planning a month, plan a month. If you feel good only about planning a day or the next hour, just do it. Do whatever works. But the overall theme is taking action is what is going to chip away at that feeling. And then the next step is don't judge yourself for the result of taking action.
Yeah.
Because that will only take you backwards. So you're gonna have anxiety about what you're doing to clear your anxiety out. And then you're going to be judging and worried and anxious about the thing that you were trying to do to clear it out, but that you performed poorly doing that.
Yeah.
So, just keep out of the spiral and just know that the more that you take action, regardless of how good you do at it at first, is going to lead you to a better place for sure.
Yeah.
And it takes a while, but
I think you touched on this a little bit. Like a lot of engineers will want to make sure that when they take action, it's going to be right. It won't be either criticized or it won't have faults, etc. So they will, the motto of paralysis by analysis. They'll spend all this upfront time preparing and blah blah blah, and they don't want to take action until it's perfect. Oftentimes, to get to perfection, you have to just fail multiple times. You have to just try it. Okay, kind of another viewpoint of that same model is, I have an example is, my daughter is pretty shy, and she was at an event, and she didn't want to. She's supposed to talk to people, right, in this event, and so she didn't want to talk to people. And I was like, okay, listen, just start with a friend. Just start having a conversation. Start with a parent, a friend's parent, and just work your way into start engaging strangers and just have small conversations. You don't have to say a lot. You can let them talk. All you have to do is ask one question, and they'll do most of the talking, and you'll start being more comfortable in engaging those conversations. So you don't have to have all the perfect things to say. So you just have to start doing it, and you'll start getting comfortable and feel better about what you're doing.
Yep. It's just about having the courage to step through it anyway. Like, because there's so many things that can just block you from taking the action that you need to take. So the goal is to take action. And I don't even think, depending on where you start, like if you're anxious all day long and that's really hindering your ability to do whatever you want to do, then it doesn't matter where you start. It just matters that you start. And then there's different levels, So for me, I've been practicing this for a long time. When I do feel anxious, and I do quite often, it's probably like every day. It's just I have this ability to, because I've worked on the skill for so long, to get rid of it super fast in any way that I can. And I have my 3 top ways, right? So if it's something that I can control and take action on immediately, then that's what I do. If it's something that I can only take action on tomorrow, I'll plan it. I'm like, it's all planned out. All I have to do is wait for time to pass. And when the sun comes up tomorrow, then I do the plan and then it's over. So then I feel better. When I don't know what the plan is going to be, then I feel anxious. So I just make a plan. And then if it's something completely out of my control, I just go to the frame of we're on this little tiny blue dot, and that's a speck of dust compared to even the galaxy, which is among trillions, you know. So who gives a shit? Like
Yeah.
we are laughably irrelevant to anything ever. So why the fuck would I care about what I'm being anxious about? So don't have to use that one often. But when I do get stuck in something where I'm like really anxious about it, but I have no control over it, I just go right to, yeah, who gives a shit?
Yeah. Yeah. And so what?
And so what? Like if I spend all my time being anxious about this, it's going to mess all the stuff up that I do have control over. And I'm going to be even more anxious about that because I could have done something. So therefore I need to get rid of this so that I can go do the things that actually help me.
Yeah.
So those are my top 3 in order. Because I can't just say nothing matters ever. Right.
Yeah.
You got to apply
absolutely.
it. You know, I'm not a crazy person.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You know, and yeah. I was trying to come up with another example, but it slipped my mind.
Hey, my fellow impactful engineers. If there's one thing that you could do to help out this community, is to keep listening to the podcast, but also if you found value in it, to share it with one person, give us a 5-star review, or even leave a text review. It'll only take a few seconds of your time. Find that person that you think could enjoy some of this or learn from it, and pass on the good word. Now back to the show. Yeah, for me, the most common one right now is just that mess of things. Like there's so many things that I could do, but I can't do them all. Even in the realm of my stripped down priorities that I live my life by, I'm a very simple and simplified person, and I only put my brain power and care about a very limited, narrow amount of things because it just enables me to like do the stuff that I am doing at a super high level and with happiness and just freedom and just because I'm not thinking about a damn thing other than my top 4, you know? So it just makes my life easy. But then if one of those within the top 4 starts to get crammed, you know, and starts spilling into the other ones and then just really piling the shit on, that's when I have to, you know, deploy these frames. So
yeah, I was thinking, you know, how we've mostly been saying if you're anxious about something, you'll just have to jump in and take action and just get it over with, right? In kind of a simplified sense. Kind of at the flip side of that is if you want to have not a perfect, but a well executed, let's just say you have a presentation, right? If you want to execute that presentation and not be anxious about it and, you know, be very impactful with it, yes, you have to just start presenting, but maybe don't jump in as your first presentation as the critical one, right? Start presenting, you know, to your teammates or to your family and just basically practice, right? Just put in the reps to keep practicing, getting up, talking to slides, you know, change your slides, find what fails, find what succeeds, and just putting in the reps and doing it over and over and over and over. So you're still taking action, but you're also prepping for that big presentation that is critically important, right? And then by the time you get in front of, you know, the board of directors or whatever the presentations do, you're going to be so comfortable with the material that all you have to worry about is, hey, did I dress nice today? Do I have fresh breath? And, you know, all right, let's go. And you execute on that presentation just fine.
Yeah. The less you have, now we're getting to like the nitty gritty of tactics and stuff. But yes, I have found the same thing. The less you have to think about the material, the less anxious you're going to be because you're just going to deliver it and it is what it is. And then you can save your brain power for fielding questions and explaining concepts deeper than what's presented if asked, stuff like that. And those reps, you're likely going to run into a lot of the same questions before you even get to quote unquote big stage that you know, the big presentation. So you'll have that bank of already pretty much predetermined conclusions that you can draw from,
Mm-hmm.
or stories, or whatever your explanation is going to be, and just pull from the database instead of having to think in real time about what you want to say, because that's like the
Yeah.
hardest thing to do ever. um, Nobody's great at just, even when you think someone's really good at just answering on the fly, they're not creating that answer out of nowhere. It's coming
Mm-hmm.
from the bank of shit that they have, that they've already practiced.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then that comes back to doing the reps, right? Which comes back to just taking action.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. I was going to say that, what's one thing every engineer has to do at least once, if not multiple times in their career. And the first time they ever do it, they're always a nervous wreck. Interviewing.
right.
It's the same thing, right? Just practice interviewing, and if you're someone who's done 100 interviews on either side, it's natural. Like, you just walk in, you're super confident, you're just like, all right, here, just going to answer all the questions. I know I have an answer for every possible scenario that they're going to ask me, and I just have something that I just pull out of my hat. Done. And your level of confidence and just finesse in navigating through that interview is like top notch in comparison on from your first day. Because your first day, you're like trying to think about the right answer and all that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
um
When you
and
don't
so
have time at
exactly,
all.
yeah. So before you get to that first job interview, you could practice with your peers or your professors or your parents or whatever. You just practice and practice and practice. And then just take interviews, take a lot of interviews, because it's, even if it's not a job that you're super interested, just interview anyways, because you're going to get more and more reps. So just another frame of where an engineer will face this scenario.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you can get into adjacent activities.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to give that big presentation, or you're going to take that big interview. It's like, you don't have to go practice presentations or interviews to get better at presentations and interviews.
Yeah.
You can go practice a million other things that are really, adjacent to that.
Mm-hmm.
And the example I always come back to is this podcast. So this is, we're coming up on 150 episodes, and it's
this is episode 150.
So this is 150. And so you think about the average minutes, our episodes are probably half an hour, some are longer, some are shorter. And we did that 150 times, right? And so that's 150 chances to collect our thoughts, say what we want to say next. Am I thinking of all of this as I'm saying it? No, I'm just pulling from my experience over those 150 episodes at 30 minutes a piece, and it's just coming out. It's just coming out. Like,
yeah.
So there's just a bank of skills there, and the stories we've heard and the guests we've had, and you just start naturally pulling, on the thread of what you've learned, and you're like, oh yeah, and more things fall. And as you're talking, you're like, oh yeah, we talked about that, and we talked about this, and it just comes out really naturally. All of the ands and ums and and duh and just run-ons that I've had in the beginning and in earlier episodes.
Yeah.
A lot of it has naturally gone away, or I've gotten better.
Yeah, because we still have them sometimes.
Sure.
But if you really want to hear some bad episodes, go to episode 1 through 15 or whatever.
Yeah.
They're terrible. But that's
for sure.
But we started, right? A lot of people would have recorded, threw it away, recorded, threw it away, recorded, threw it away, and and that's okay too if you're just doing that to get the reps, and then you launch with the better stuff. But same time, we just were like, fuck it, just launch it. We're just going to start rolling, and we're going to start improving as podcast hosts and interviewers, et cetera, and we're just going to continue to develop as we do this. And now we have a bank of episodes with a lot of great topics, a lot of great guests that we can just pull from at will when we have conversations outside of the podcast realm.
Right. The point that I wanted to make was that through doing the podcast, presenting my work is easier. Running through interviews for RFQs is easier. Presenting my value to architects talking to electrical contractors in the field about what I can do to help them, or if we're
Yeah.
just solving a problem in real time, it's much easier for me to explain so that they can understand what I'm saying and the point I'm trying to make than it used to be, for sure.
Yeah.
I used to confuse the hell out of a lot of people. And I probably still do, but I'm much better now. And my intent was never, I didn't take a course on explaining things better. Just you just get naturally better at stuff as you do it. So it
Mhm.
just transfers to so many things.
Yeah. It's made me be a better manager to the people that are on my team. It's made me a better peer and engineer and communicate to upwards and to executive leadership, et cetera, right? Because of all the reps that we put in here.
And people always ask me, like, you ever going to monetize the podcast? No.
No.
Does it help you in business? Yeah, but what their real question was, do you get clients through your podcast? Everybody wants to talk about funnels and
Yeah, I know.
is the podcast bringing you business? And then you can see behind their eyes, like, then why are you doing it?
Mm-hmm.
When I see the podcast as a training ground, there is absolutely, Steve, I'm totally fucking going off. Completely different subject. Somebody got through the soffit in my goddamn shed. And they are in the ceiling, actively eating insulation.
That's awesome.
I don't know how I put armored sheets of metal in the soffit. I don't know how they got through it. Those squirrels, they are relentless bastards. Did you make it through? You did, didn't you? You sucker. All right. Well, we began talking about anxiety and we ended talking about squirrels. So I think we're done, Steve.
All right. That sounds good. Well, it's been a fantastic 150th episode. Fucking squirrels.
There's insulation just raining onto my laptop right now.
I know. You're like in mid-sentence and look up as stuff gets in your face. All right. Well, hopefully you learned something at some point in this episode. All we ask is that you share the show because it is the best way that we can continue to contribute to the engineering community.